Hello, everybody. This is Poncho Blazing ATM, Reverend Joseph James Holland. Joseph James Holland. You know, tonight's episode of the Talk at Poncho's Palace is going to be in the dark. I'm out here driving, eating a good apple fritter. It's kind of like a homemade apple pie, but way much better than apple pie. Trust me. If you ever want to try an apple fritter. And especially with the glaze, white glaze on top, oh my god, the apple fritter is so good. But tonight's episode in the Talk of Poncho's Palace, I'm outside driving, just taking a good old drive to who knows where. I'm not going to tell you where I'm driving to, because that would ruin my location. But I must say, the driving out here at night is pretty cool. You get to see all the pretty lights, other vehicles, less traffic at nighttime, so you don't have to really worry about that much. But tonight's episode of Talking Poncho's Palace is going to be about presidents. Now, we all know that here in just less than 12 hours, or really more than less than 12 hours, we will have a new president. His name is Joe Biden. Sorry about that. I didn't take a drink of my Sprite. You put my apple fritter down. But in less than 12 hours, we're going to inaugurate Joe Biden as the next president of the United States of America. Him and Kamala Harris both. They will be the 46th president and vice president. Now, we all know that when it comes to presidents, inaugurations are very important. But this year, with what happened at the U.S. Capitol and with COVID spreading still, it's going to be so much different. Because this year, where COVID rules still exist, we don't know how the inauguration is going to be. But I must say that it was going to be a special one. And what does a president do? What is the president's job? The president's job is to lead and command the country of the United States of America, North America, that is. A president's job is to be a leader and to be a role model and to be leader by example. A president's job is to listen to the people. Now, you have great presidents that listen to the people, and then you have not so great presidents that don't listen. But if you ask me, we have some great presidents and we have some terrible presidents. Now, as we all know, Donald Trump will no longer be the president after tomorrow's inauguration. President Trump was president of the United States, the 45th president, from January 20th, 2017 through January 20th of 2021. He had a 4-year run, a strong 4-year run. To some people, he was one of the greatest presidents of all time. And to some people, he was one of their worst presidents of all time. But it's just your opinion and how you go with the flow and how you relate to Trump. It just depends if you're a Democrat or Republican or liberal. Just depends on whether you liked Trump or not. Now, one thing that I did like about Donald Trump, the one thing I did like about him is that he ordered the worldwide shutdown. Normally, you're supposed to go through Congress and House of Representatives, but on national television, he said himself that he was ordering a worldwide shutdown. And he was right on that. He was right at the time because the world was getting worse with the coronavirus, and we had no choice but to shut down. Especially for this couple of months, especially the first couple of months. Didn't nobody expect to be shut down in the United States, or didn't nobody expect in the whole world to be shut down. But the coronavirus shut the whole world down. But another thing that I liked about Donald Trump was the stimulus checks. When he ordered the first round of stimulus checks to help the American people. He really, on that note, helped out a lot of people at the time. For me personally, it allowed me to get caught up on bills. It allowed me to get pay one bill off. Praise the Lord, hallelujah. So I definitely thank him for that in all seriousness. Now, on a lot of things I didn't agree with him, but I'm going to keep those to myself. But it just depends on how, if you like Donald Trump, if you didn't, or what you liked about him, what you didn't like about him. But those are the two things that I did like about him. Now, for favorite presidents of all time, I've got 3 on my favorite top 3 list that are my favorite presidents. President Abraham Lincoln, a Republican. President Barack Obama, a Democrat. And President John F. Kennedy, a Democrat. Now, you must be asking yourself, Poncho, why do you like these 3 presidents out of all the presidents in the world? Let me explain to you. President Abraham Lincoln, during 1861 through 65, a Republican president, one of the greatest presidents of all time. The reason why he's my favorite president is because he abolished slavery. He said it was wrong and that he got rid of it. That's one thing that I especially like about him, because he related to black people of how we feel. Not only black people, but people that get treated wrong on a daily basis for the color of their skin and not the content of their character. And so he was looking at a person's heart instead of their color. And he really helped out a lot of black people. Some say that he was a slave owner. That might have been true. But, like I said, he the one that said, you know what? We got to put a stop to this. And he made a huge impact during the Civil War. There's the North versus the South. The North was against slavery, while the South was for slavery. A lot of people, nearly 2,000, more than 2,000 people died during the Civil War. Bloodied, battered, wounded. But President Lincoln stood up for his rights, stood up for the United States of America. And some people agreed with President Lincoln, some didn't. But he will go down as one of the all-time greatest presidents, but also one of my favorite all-time presidents, Abraham Lincoln will. But unfortunately, on April 14th, 1865, he went to Ford Theater. Was enjoying a 2-hour play, I think. I don't know how long it lasted. But he enjoyed a real good play. And right before, close to the ending, a guy by the name of J.W.B., John Wilkes Booth, 3 feet behind President Abraham Lincoln when he assassinated President Abraham Lincoln. Unfortunately, Abraham Lincoln passed away. It would have been so great to see Abraham Lincoln have a second term, but unfortunately he didn't get the second term. But on behalf of President Abraham Lincoln's ancestors, wherever they're at, thank you for allowing a great man in President Abraham Lincoln to be president and allowing him to help us black people in slavery. Now, my second favorite president of all time, President Barack Obama. A lot of people loved Obama. I was one of those, I'll admit. I'm a huge fan of Obama's. But there's a lot of people that didn't like Obama. He had 2 terms served 8 years as president from January 20th of 2019 through January 20th of 2017. Now, the one thing that I did love about Obama, health insurance. At a time where I was very sick, my health insurance just ended. And I didn't know how I was going to pay for my hospital bills. I didn't know how I was going to pay for my surgery because I was dying for taking 2 pills called clindamycin. I spent 2 weeks and 5 days in the hospital, 2 weeks in Whitesburg ARH Hospital, and 5 days at Good Samaritan Hospital in Lexington, Kentucky. I was on every machine possible, breathing machine, oxygen, you name it. Every machine that they could put me on, I was on. I had a catheter. The doctor said at the time that he was getting ready to put me in surgery, that if I did not go in surgery within 30 minutes to an hour, I would have died that day. Lord have mercy, it's just scary going back and looking at it. When the doctor tells you that if we don't put you in surgery right away, that you would die that day. And you got all Christians out there, when we pray for somebody else, it's a great thing. But when it's for yourself, it's one of the roughest things you can do. Especially when you're getting attacked, you don't know why. But at the time, Barack Obama's health insurance thankfully came out at the time that my surgery was there in 2012. And I truly thank you, President Barack Obama, the 44th president, and the senator, for your health insurance coming out at a time that I was close to dying from colon surgery. You really helped out a lot of people with health insurance, with me. And nobody better ever say that Barack Obama didn't provide health insurance, because I'm a living testimony that the health insurance came at the right time. Obama's insurance did. If it wasn't for Obama's insurance, I would have probably died that day in the hospital. Without the health care insurance, I wasn't even covered. But thankfully with the health care insurance, I was covered full. So sorry about that. It's just hard when you know you're getting close to dying and you ain't covered. And thankfully out of nowhere, the Lord provides for you each and every single time. Now we all know the Lord provides, but the Lord put in Obama's heart to bring out the health care insurance. And that's always something that I'll remember of Obama. Now his first 4 years of being president really wasn't much. I mean, really couldn't do much. But his last 4 years, he really represented and did great. Now, my third favorite president of all time is John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy, his presidency was very short. He gave out great speeches, and he's getting ready to re-elect for president. But on November 17th, I believe, of 1963, he was getting ready to give a speech in Dallas, Texas. He was all ready. He flown in and everything, and he was going to decide to drive the limo that day with the car roof off. Drove different corners, different highways, waving and everything. He was on highway for at least about 4 hours, 4.5 hours. About 5 minutes before he was set to arrive at his destination, they decided to go to this one specific turn. It was the last turn, one of the last two turns before he arrived. And at the very close to last turn, a guy by the name of Lee Oswald shot and assassinated President Kennedy and four others, including the Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson, I believe. It was sad because the whole world mourned that day of John F. Kennedy's loss. And John F. Kennedy, honestly, he loved black people. He was big time involved with civil rights. And he was set to make big changes in the world. And right before he could make the big changes, Lee Oswald, because he was arguing with his wife, because he had a bad relationship with his wife, decided to make an impact on somebody, decided to take a stand for the wrong reasons. So he just saw John F. Kennedy and just decided to assassinate him. Everybody knew that he was dead, but they took him to the hospital anyway, John F. Kennedy. But within like 30 minutes, they automatically pronounced him dead. His presidency ended up short, and Lyndon B. Johnson took over. And we know how that went. But John F. Kennedy really loved black people. And he was set to make big changes in the world. A lot of people actually agreed with John F. Kennedy. A lot of people wanted to see change, but they was afraid at the time of what their ancestors, they was afraid of what people would think of them. And then there's a lot that didn't agree with John F. Kennedy. But, Lord have mercy. Oh. Within a time, his life was gone. And then 5 years later, his brother got assassinated, Robert Kennedy. John F. Kennedy would probably, if his presidency would have lived on, if he would have continued to live, he probably would have been ranked as one of the greatest presidents of all time. But because of his short-lived presidency, because of his life cut short, we'll never know. But he is one of my favorite, greatest presidents of all time. The thing about presidents is that they lead by example, and whatever pretty much the leaders do, the followers will do. Like I said, we got some great leaders. We had some great presidents, some great leaders in the world, and we had some not great so presidents, great leaders in the world. But I'm gonna leave that up to you. Who do you think was the greatest president of all time? And who was your favorite president of all time? I know my three favorite greatest presidents of all time was President Abraham Lincoln, President Barack Obama, and President John F. Kennedy. Those are my three greatest presidents of all time. But it's so great to see presidents in the White House. You need leadership when it comes to White House. Whether they're good, whether they're bad, they're all for the same goal. To make America great again, make the world better again, to make the country great again, and to be there for the people in the United States of America. But that's just going to about do it for the Talking Ponchos Palace episode 15 with presidents. I hope you've enjoyed this episode tonight in the dark, me driving and everything. And earlier I told you what my destination, I didn't. But I'm getting ready to go wash the car because I feel like it. And I want to wash the car. I want to make my car clean, nice and shiny outside, on the outside. But tune in next time on the Talking Ponchos Palace in episode 16. And we're going to talk about Black history. Black history is so great. And I want to leave that subject alone, because when I talk about that, it's going to make a huge impact on the Talking Ponchos Palace and on everybody. So until next time, episode 16 will be about Black history. But tune in this Sunday for One Way Pentecostal church service starting at 5 p.m. in Lynch, Kentucky. And we'll see you all then.